Okay, well, we are going to open up a new vertical now. I thought this was very, very interesting, a post-mortem for fintech, but we're going into consumer goods. And consumer goods is a very funny one because there are a whole bunch of new companies who are selling products online without going to retailers. Companies like Harry's, companies like Titan Black, etc. But before we do that, I would like to invite OIaf Koch on stage, who is the retailer of Germany. He's the CEO of the Metro Group, which we all, the Germans like me, obviously have the understanding of. So you were already presenting in London, which we enjoyed very much, and very pleased you're in Germany, our home country, and talk about
thank you.
Metro. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. It was a kind introduction and articulating that most of you might know Metro. And Metro is a company which is not in the transport business. We are not running subways. We are not building locomotives. We are a trading company. And as such, a lot of people in the room might know us because we are German. We are more than 50 years old. But I hope that after this presentation, you might have a different view on the company, which you might think you know very well, because it might be an interesting platform for you. In the journey about digitalization and the way we have to deal with a new age, for us it's very clear it's not just selling online. Of course, that is something you need to do, that's a must, but it goes far beyond. And I want to share with you the journey we have gone through in the management team at Metro in turning this company from a transaction-based company into a solution company. Let me start with this one. It's a massive company. It's a 60 billion turnover company. We are very international. We have more than 200,000 people, impressive numbers. So my predecessors must have been doing something right. And that was based on the core strength of retail like it was conducted in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, which was based on purchasing power. So your purchasing power is denominating your success. And once you have that, and once you know in which category you want to succeed, you scale. And you scale by standard. In other words, it's almost industrialized. You run a store like a factory, and you reproduce. And you are so successful that you forget to ask, what does the customer want? And typically, that ends up with this one, which you have seen in university, college, or wherever, which is the life cycle of a business. And we have been exactly in that pattern. So 60s was the orange box, green box 70s, 80s, and then the maturation phase started in the 90s. And actually, in the middle of the last decade, our like-for-like sales were starting to drop. And that is the most evident proof that you are losing relevance for the customer. What was our reflex? Our reflex was cost saving. Our reflex was performance improvement programs, restructuring, all of these things. But nothing worked out. Why was that? Well, it was because we were still running on the left formula. The left formula is what I just mentioned before. We make products available, and then we try to get you in the store. And you come in the store, you take the product, and you leave, please. Because there's no interest in a relationship. There is an interest in maximizing transactions. And the more you distract me from doing that, the less good it is for my bottom line. And as such, the idea at the time was industrialization, standardization is going to make things work. In today's world, that has changed massively through digital. And why is that? In the year 2005, we could sell you a TV in Flensburg for 1,000 and in Munich for 1,200. And you would not figure it out. You would still say, ich bin doch nicht blöd. But apparently, there was something wrong. The market was not transparent. Now, digital has changed all of this. The market is completely transparent. Some professor once told you the market will never be transparent. It's a utopia. No, it is not utopia, it's reality. Our customers know everything about the price. They know almost everything about the product. They know almost everything about the service quality. So everybody who comes into our store is powerful. Actually, we call them the superheroes of today. Those are the customers. And if that's the case, and you are not in control like you used to be in control, well, you better deal with that and turn it around. The biggest asset we have as a company is our customer base. And I will share with you insights we have on that because it is a massive customer base and one that can be utilized for many things to create value exactly for them, because that's everything we want to do. Now let me start with this one. That's the chart which re-emphasizes the biggest part of our business, the wholesale business. It's B2B. We are serving independent business owners, independent entrepreneurs, small and medium-sized people, one who runs a cafe, a restaurant, a hotel, or a small grocer in Eastern Europe. We do this, meanwhile, on a very localized basis. There's no standard anymore. We have given all managing directors of our countries the keys. They are CEOs. And they adjust the business model to the requirements of the market. And that is very different in Spain compared to Italy, very different in Russia compared to Germany. So therefore, we have done a massive shift in the way we do adjust the business for the local needs. And for this reason, we have started to regrow. We have now 11 consecutive quarters of like-for-like growth. Profitability is absolutely protected. And by the way, the balance sheet, which used to be levered by more than 5 billion on top of what we have today, meanwhile is completely healthy. So far, so good. So we would say, okay, but why are we doing all of this? What is the purpose of a company like Metro in wholesale? That is the key question that we found is the most important to be answered. And when we addressed that question inside, ultimately we ended up with this. The goal of Metro and Makro, because we have the two brands, the goal of Metro and Makro is exactly helping the people on that chart. And those are the small guys. Those are the everyday heroes who run their own business. And if we can make a small contribution to make them a bit better on turnover, on efficiency, on bottom line results, that's when the magic moment starts to work out. Because then we build a relationship, and based on relationship, we can do many more good things for these guys and many more good things for the company. And if you look at that, it is really magic, because it has changed the attitude in the company. What we say internally today is we want to be champion for independent business. We know that we are like this in many places. We know we are not like this in other places, and we still have way to go. But what we tell to our people is, we have a great purpose. We make a contribution to entrepreneurs. We make a contribution to society. And it is a rule of thumb. Whenever we do, we start to grow faster than any other competitor. And they can copy whatever they want. They cannot copy soul. So therefore, we have had a massive program on leadership culture and company culture, which we have conducted with more than 100,000 people, to improve the service mentality. Again, I'm saying this well knowing that we have made huge progress, but still huge way to go. While we did this, we also noticed we need to change the way we communicate about the company. We used to be the dominant Metro. Metro is so powerful, you will not challenge what we say, because we are so powerful. Now, we changed that. The new way of articulating Metro starts with you. That's why we started the campaign, You and Metro. And You and Metro always illustrates a customer and the value we contribute to her or to him. And we apply the same mechanism inside, because we say everything that decides about success within our company is human. We have no factory. We have no chemical formula. We have no R&D. Our business is 100% people. Success factor number 1 to 100 is people. Therefore, we started also to celebrate You and Metro inside. We encourage people to do crazy stuff. This is on the central place in Milano, people doing a flash mob, other people doing this illustration in France, the Vous et Metro. You can, if you want to, you can see a lot of this stuff meanwhile on YouTube, because people also dare to publish it. And it's funny. I at least think it's funny. And we are measuring this. We are measuring since 2012 the engagement index together with Aon Hewitt. We are permanently measuring, is our team convinced and engaged? And since 2012, we improved massively. We started with a 60% engagement index. That's strong. 55 is the average in retail. Meanwhile, in our countries, we are above 80, which is illustrating something has happened. And ultimately, what we want to have is that customers start to think differently about Metro. And you hopefully will think differently about Metro after this morning. Of course, the left side is hygiene. Great value for money you need to offer. You need to be reliable and consistent. There's no question. All of these things on the left, I skip now every detail, but everything on the left is the classic discipline of doing trade. That's not good enough. What we want to achieve is we want to have something which is beyond. So we train our customers. We train traders in Eastern Europe. Just in the month of April, we had an event for 14,000 traders in Moscow, giving them access to knowledge and expertise. We just launched a hospitality academy in Prague just 10 weeks ago, where we train chefs about the new ways to do their business, inspire them, help them to improve the utilization of their raw material and improve bottom line. And we do this because we want to be the partner, as it says here underneath. That only works if we continue to surprise them and bring them new stuff they had not expected from us. And finally, on the bottom right, this is what we want. We want to serve a community, and we want to stay in touch with that community, which means we don't only see you in the store, we see you elsewhere, online, and whatever sort of way. Now, the question we raised 3 years ago, when we started to see that things are making progress, the question we raised is, what about digital? And at the time, honestly, we had no idea at all. So we started to explore the market, try to find out, are there ideas that can improve the productivity of a business, that can enhance the customer experience, that actually can improve the efficiency and therefore also the financial result of a business. And as you can see with the examples mentioned here, in theory, there is a lot. This starts with digital marketing, where you can, if you apply just the media that you use for yourself and you start to apply that for a business like a restaurant, it is obvious that you can do that. You can certainly also do that at the point of sale with electronic checkout, reordering process, and the like. So you can easily, I mean, you especially because you are people very close to technology, you can easily imagine what could happen. Now the truth is, it didn't happen. Ask yourself, if you go to your favorite place, the restaurant, the pub, the cafe, and ask yourself, how digital is it? It's not. And there's one good reason, by the way. The reason is the experience. You don't want to pollute the experience by introducing technology which is actually not giving the right experience, but you can do many things that are not visible. You can do many things behind the curtain that will improve the business and therefore help the customer. Is it worthwhile to look at that? You might say, well, OIaf, what the heck? I mean, a few people here running their restaurants, why should I look at that? I mean, I don't think that industry is that interested because, you know, it's slow moving, it's complex, it's very diverse. Why should I look at it? Well, I'll give you a reason why you should look at it. Western Southern Europe, 2 million. 2 million independent entrepreneurs in hospitality, hotels, restaurants, catering companies, cafes, and pubs, 2 million. These companies generate 400 billion turnover. So that is not a small sector. It is a big one. It corresponds to 120 billion purchasing power relevant for Metro, out of which we make 6.5, which is ridiculous. We are way too low. In the context of the next numbers I show you, we have 1.5 million of these customers in our Rolodex. All of our customers are digital because we have all of them with a card and we know all the transactions. So 1.5 million. 3/4 of these customers are well known by Metro. And by the way, we have 3,500 people out there on the street serving those customers almost day by day. So there's something we should be able to do. Now, what we are not able to do, and we know by heart, we are not a VC. We are not a venture capitalist. We are not a business building company. And we should not claim to do that, just hire a bunch of people who have done that elsewhere and then call the department our business building whatever. We know that that is not going to work. But we met a company 2 years ago called Techstars. Techstars is a business building company. They do that since 2006. Based in Boulder, Colorado, they have a principle which is the same I just explained you for Metro. They want to be champion for startups. And they have a give-first mentality in trying to help people to grow their business. So while we had the first conversations, we noticed there's such a match between the two. Let's start to work together. And we conducted our first batch in October 2015, just finished in January this year. And also here, if you want to see some of the content, don't hesitate to watch at YouTube to see all the pitches of those companies. All of them have been growing massively in the 3 months. They got support on technology, they got support on the sector, and the like. And just to illustrate one of them, I cannot go through all of them. Lunchio was one of the most surprising for me. Lunchio addresses the lunch table. Say a lunch table, so what the heck? I mean, why should I bother? Well, people that don't have a canteen, small businesses go to restaurants. And the experience is never really good, or often not that good, because you have to wait. Maybe you don't even get the table. Then you sit at the table, the waiter is not coming. Then you make the order. It takes time until the order is served. Then you want to check out, and it takes you maybe 60 minutes. Now, lunch will change that, because you can make your reservation. Say, at 12:15, I want to have my spaghetti carbonara, Giampietro, as always. And I want to have a Pellegrino with it, and espresso afterwards. And actually, I will pay now. So I pre-check out. 12:15, I'm there. My table is reserved. My spaghetti carbonara come in at 12:16. I enjoy, relax. I take all the time I need because I'm not in stress. I stand up and I leave. That's good for the customer. It's much better for the business owner. Why? Because it's plannable, and the duration of the time in the restaurant is shorter. So I can sell the table more times if I'm smart enough. So I can increase productivity. Now you go to a restaurant owner and talk to him and say, hey, I can improve your productivity by online reservation. He says, what the heck? I mean, you want a coffee or a beer, but get off my back. I'm not interested, because that's not the language these people speak. So that's why it is so difficult for tech companies to reach out to them. And we can make a contribution. We know the sector. We have a powerful sales team. We have an international network of experts which we brought into the program. And what we offer is partnership. We don't want to overrule. We don't want to abuse. We want to contribute. And we are very convinced that if we do that, this can be a massive change in the sector. So we're doing more things. We have the accelerator. We have invested in advanced companies. We have a small investment department, meanwhile. We have a very strong M&A department on the corporate side, and a smaller one, meanwhile, for more mature companies on the startup scene. We continuously reach out to people and invite them to speak to us and present their ideas. So tonight we're going to have our 11th meetup in the lovely city of Düsseldorf, where we invite people to show up and present their ideas on innovation and retail. And we will go and install the Metro Digital Club, something which will change the way how the whole community will come together. Let me give you a few examples. Culinary Agents is one we invested in last year. It is a great company. It's a LinkedIn for hospitality. So you are a chef and you look for a job, what do? No way you will find the good employer. No way you will find the best address you want to work for. Same for the guy who employs the people. He will not find the people. Not on LinkedIn, not on Xing, nowhere. Now, Culinary Agents is that one. They have 100,000 customers in the United States. We teamed up with them, and we told them, yes, we will invest, but what we will give you is much more than money. We will give you access. So we brought them to France and Italy last year. This is just some pictures from that event. And within a few weeks, they already have created 12,000 users in France, and they continue to grow because they are addressing a wide spot of the industry. Next one is Orderbird. We just invested recently. It's an electronic point-of-sale tool which will enhance efficiency and the experience for the entrepreneur, but also for the customer. And it is the starting point of building a seamless chain between the consumer, the entrepreneur, and Metro. And that is our vision. It sounds like utopia, but that's what we want. We want to see you as the consumer through that chain, and that will only be possible through digital. Now, attention for this whole thing is massively growing. TechCrunch just released this nice article. Look at it. I will not mention too much about it because my time is almost over. But it illustrates that the momentum is big, is very big. We have more and more companies starting to go for the sector because it is so big. But on the right side, you see what happens. They don't build scale. They fail in reaching out to the customer. Why is that? Because there is quite often a technology that is explained in a technical way. And that doesn't work. You need to be in a position that the customer, the business person, gets the answer very simple, very intuitive, that you can say, this is something too good not to use. And that's why we actually are investing now in this community building thing. We are installing solutions into a number of clients for free in bigger cities in Europe, with one reason. We want to make them better. And the deal we have, you will not pay too much for that, but you will show us how it works. And based on that, we want to get your credentials for scaling it into the industry and build this digital HoReCa community. Now, very briefly, for those who are interested in consumer electronics, part of Metro is also this powerhouse, 22 billion turnover, 15 countries. We are the sector leader in consumer electronics. But it is very true, until the year 2011, we completely missed it. What was the online turnover of MediaMarkt-Saturn in the year 2011? Who knows it? Say loud. Zero. Zero. Why was that? Because we were afraid of cannibalization. We thought that if we sell online, people will not come to the store. How stupid can that be? If we say, we tell you as a customer, you have to come to our store because we decide where you buy, that is not real. In the digital age, that is not real. That's why they started to change and think, what are we contributing to the customer and how do I serve you as a customer better? We started to go online. Meanwhile, we're moving to the 2 billion mark online sales rapidly, and 50% of online purchased product are picked up in the store. And meanwhile, store managers say, cool, they come to me. And then I can make more business because I can start to give advice and the like. To cut it short, this journey was very, very long and very big and very intensive for us. The result is similar as the one on consumer electronics. We want to be your partner around consumer electronics. And in a time where technology becomes more and more complex, and Internet of Things and smart home is not easy, it's not intuitive, it's not simple. It will require advice to choose the right product. It will require advice and support to install it, and it will require help once you fail. So this is the reason why we're engaging in services much more than ever before. Today we make more than 1 billion turnover in the services business, and there will be more. This is accompanied by a lot of other changes, new store formats, new innovative products which we are starting to sell, new content which we are reaching out to customers, like Juke, which is a late comer in the online streaming audio business. We are also in the video business. And we have something others don't have, which is reach, and I'll show that to you in a minute. We also ran an accelerator, and this time was not run by Techstars, but I dare to say by another icon well known here in Berlin, who has run other programs as well for Axel Springer. Martin Sinner was the one leading this in Munich. It was completely related to services, and it was another great experience for us to see things we were not able to resolve ourselves. Just take here one example, Deutsche Technikberatung. These guys should get an award for the name, because it sounds like 1954, Deutsche Technikberatung, 15,000 engineers. Not true. Two gentlemen who started the company working with freelancers. What do these freelancers do? They come to your home for 69 euro, they fix your problem with the Sonos, with whatever, with the cloud. And they have gone through a massive learning. Initially, they hired nerds to do that for them. That apparently didn't work out that well because they would come to the customer and say, you don't get this? I mean, are you stupid? I mean, I fix it, but that's not good that you don't know. So that was the technology approach. Meanwhile, they hire people because of their EQ. The EQ is the assessment. And the technology they train, because they know if I come to the customer and say, that problem is bad, it's really bad. I have the same. I fix it for you. No problem. What happens is 80% come back. And 50% become retail customers. That tells you those are things we would not have invented within Metro. So let me conclude on the two. Why is it attractive for you as entrepreneurs and startup companies? We have sector knowledge. That's one thing. Yes, you knew that before. But we are a platform. We are not only a platform on the blue side, we are also a platform on the red side, because we have 5 million people every day, online and offline. And by the way, just the last one on MediaMarkt-Saturn, we used to be customer agnostic, to be honest. I mean, we used to be customer agnostic, having the customer coming in and leaving the store. While we learned all of this, we just started a CRM program. Just recently, we started the MediaMarkt Club. The MediaMarkt Club gives you a lot of benefits. One of it, which is somewhat discount on certain services, training, invitation to events. But one of the killer functionalities it has is it puts all your invoices digitally in the cloud. So in case of a warranty, you will never have the situation that you don't find the invoice. Very simple thing, huge value for the customer. We started in March. Today we have 700,000 members, just in a few weeks. That shows you what sort of a reach this is. I conclude with a message which is relevant. This velocity of change is so big that we know within the company that is going to be very challenging to master all these things. And one of the learnings is we need to focus. We need to focus on the things that matter. And we need to be much more flexible and agile in the way we run this, giving more authority to people to do that, giving more entrepreneurship within the company. Otherwise, we'll not take advantage of the many chances. And that will only work in this new context. In the year 2017, you will not see Metro Group as you saw it before. Definitely not, because it's going to be two groups. We will have two companies, one on the wholesale and food side, and one on the consumer electronics side. And the reason for that, to cut it short, is we tell people this is a super fast and demanding change, but get aware that this right now, today, is the slowest moment in time ever for the near future. And I hope I could therefore give you a bit more background on how we're moving away from a transaction-based company into a solution-based company. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.